Well, hello there, Hollywood Time viewers. Today we welcome singer-songwriter Dan Rogers. Hi, Dan. How you doing?
I'm having a ball. How about you?
I'm having a blast here in sunny Southern California. Where are you
That's
calling
right.
in from?
I live in Newport Beach, but I came to Nashville, about 40 miles out of Nashville, deep in the woods. My producer and old friend, Bill Cuomo, has a studio in his home, and it's a culture shock. I go from Newport Beach to having not being able to see any neighbors and chickens and ducks walking up to me and horses, and I'm loving it. I'm absolutely enjoying the tranquility.
Wow, that sounds pretty spoiled.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
I thought I was spoiled in Newport Beach.
right, we take that for advantage. Newport Beach is beautiful.
Yes, I love it. Yeah.
How's the weather in Nashville today?
The weather's bad, but the music's good. So I don't care. I can be locked away in the studio. It's my happy place, and it can just rain, and they can do
Right.
whatever they want out there.
Sounds good. Well, like I said, today we're here to talk about your latest single and video, Lessons in Love. I have to tell you, it was a moving, touching video and a really touching song. So let's talk about that.
Oh, well, thank you for saying that. And you know what? I have been getting the same reaction from everyone. I've not had one single negative comment about this song and video. I'm so proud of that.
Oh, yeah, I kind of read, let's tell us the story behind that song. It's a very moving song.
Yeah, well, my process for songwriting I've developed over the years. I start with a guitar or keyboard, and I hook on something, and then I start singing a melody, and then I figure out what kind of words, what the story's about. And I just happened to fall upon this great chord progression, and I had the first verse. She stares at the night alone in her room, and from there the story began to unfold. And I had experience going through the abortion process with a girlfriend early in my life. So I saw what she went through, and I know what I went through. I felt terrible, but it was the right decision for her. So I could relate. Once the story began to unfold, I could relate to it emotionally.
Yeah.
And I wanted to write it not from a place of judgment, but a place of empathy of the man seeing what the woman is going through, which is why I put the ballerina in the video, because I wanted to bring beauty to the pain of the story.
You did an amazing job. It's so well done.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it should be out there for all of us, women and mothers and fathers. It touches a lot of us, and it's an amazing way to look at it. Your video is really
Thank
great.
you. And I look at it like this. I hate people and governments and want to divide us. We're either or. I'm pro-life and pro-choice. I can't possibly imagine what a woman is actually feeling going through that. I feel like it's a moral decision between her and her God. But I've said this to a lot of people, that if one woman watches this video and is contemplating abortion and decides not to do it, and then has the child and falls in love with it, then the video will have served as a higher purpose. And that makes me happy as an artist and a writer, to know I've made a difference through music in somebody's life.
Yeah, exactly. Just touching one person is an amazing thing, isn't it?
It's spiritual.
Yes, very
Really.
much so. Oh goodness. Well, let's talk about like, how old were you when you realized that you could sing?
Oh, I started at an early age. My dad was in the music industry, and I grew up in it. I was born into it, literally. And so I worked in all facets. I started at 11 years old. I watched a guy called Uncle Mickey, used to sleep on our couch, Mickey Newberry, who became my mentor as a writer. I watched him write. I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. So I knew that's what I wanted to do at 11. And then at 15, I was co-writing a song with a family friend in front of the fireplace, and a guy named Johnny Nash walks through and says, "Hey, I want to record that." And so by that time, I was already writing and singing and being influenced by people who were real artists that I wanted to be like. John Lennon sent me a message at 15 that I had written the most beautiful bloody song he's ever heard in his life, he said. And I didn't believe that story, but a week later, Johnny Nash's wife told me the same story. So he told that to Johnny Nash while Johnny was at Apple Studios in London recording the song.
Wow. So what was the road like for you becoming a singer-songwriter?
I'm sorry?
What was the road like? What was it like becoming a...
Gosh, in looking back, I realized that it was a really awesome environment to grow up in, because my two heroes were my father, who was in the music business, and my Uncle Kenny, who I watched play in bands that inspired me to want to be out there and playing in bands. And I started playing in bands very early. I was a drummer first 10 years of my life in junior high school bands, and then switched to guitar to write. So, I guess it was just there. I was anointed, I think, with this opportunity, and I knew I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to do what my Uncle Kenny was doing and do what my dad was doing and be in the business.
Yeah. Wow. Do you have any cherished memories of a songwriter?
Wow. I do. I remember one night sitting in Canoga Park, California, my apartment dead broke. I'd already had my first, Kenny Rogers, my uncle, were the first two relatives ever to enter the Billboard Top 10 Adult Contemporary charts, 1980. He was number 5 with Coward of the County. I was number 6 with Looks Like Love Again. So that was a cherished memory. Working with Kenny on stage, his first 4 shows without the first edition, my band backed him up. Sitting in my apartment that night, Friday night, and a phone rings and the guy says, "Is this Dan Rogers? This is Glenn Campbell. I have to meet you right now." 10 o'clock at night on Friday night, he goes, "Can you come up? I just heard your songs and I think you're amazing. Can you come up to my house?" And I said, "When?" And he goes, "Now." And I said, "I'm on my way." And I stayed with him for 3 days playing him songs. And we were pretty thick for a year. Lionel Richie walking in the studio in the 80s in LA when I was recording and hearing a song I was doing called Scared. And he flipped out. He was so impressed. He went and wrote his phone number down and gave it to me and said, "Hey, Dan, call me, come write with me." And I never did because I was scared he wouldn't come back. I've always looked up to Lionel. I think they called me the Lionel Richie of Nashville when I came to Nashville in the mid 80s to do an album here, because I wrote such commercial songs that had soulful feelings to them and soulful meanings. And I thought that was a big compliment. So yeah, I've had lots of stuff like that. Michael McDonald and Burton Cummings doing the encores with me when I was playing the Troubadour in LA, packing the place, and we tore the house up. I could sit here for days and tell you stories like that. So, and I'm having the best time of my life right now in Nashville, in the woods with Bill Cuomo and his 2 dogs and his chickens and ducks. We're writing my next single and it's gonna be great. Much like this song, Lesson in Love, this new single is gonna be totally different also.
And what's that one? Do you have another new one coming out anytime soon?
I do, but I can't tell you what it's called because if
I tried.
50 songwriters in Nashville tomorrow sit down and write the same title. So I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you and all your viewers.
Oh,
it's going to be good though. It's going to be.
Oh, I can't wait. Well, we'll be talking about that. I know for sure. So I look forward to that. So I wanted to ask too, have you ever wanted to do a duet? And if so, who would that person be?
I did a duet. I was supposed to do one with my big sister, Bonnie Bramlett. She and Delaney were family to me and considered me family. Their daughter, Becca, is a fine singer. And I did a Christmas song, Run, Run, Rudolph, with her, and we tore it up. It's really good. So duets, sure. I'm an artist and I don't approach the music the way that a lot of people do. I'm not in it for the money and the fame and the glory. I'm a true artist. And yeah, it's art. And when you get in the commercial side and commerce becomes involved with it, the art suffers. You have to write songs to sound a certain way to get on the radio and follow trends. I've never been that way. That's not who I am.
Well, good for you, because that's good to hear, because you're doing what you feel is in your heart, and there's nothing like music and you writing the songs, because without songwriters we're not going to even have that music for us to listen to. you know.
And I used to sit in rooms with other songwriters and co-write. Actually, Bill Cuomo and I are writing this one. But I got to a point where I just wanted to get all the art out of me, the pure artist, find that real pure artist by just writing them myself and doing my art myself. And so I don't co-write that often. They got to be at this level. And Bill Cuomo's, this guy's as big as they get. And we've been friends for 40 years. He produced Lesson in Love, actually. So, yeah.
Is he working on your next single as well?
He's co-writing it with me and co-producing. He's producing it. Look, Bill does everything. I just sit back and go, hey, that's great. I make a suggestion now and then, and he listens. And I made some good suggestions. But yeah, when you're working with a guy like Bill Cuomo, you check his resume out.
I will have to look him up.
Oh my gosh, I'll give you a few. He was just sitting here telling me stories of the 2 albums. He's a keyboard player, arranger. He did Betty Davis Eyes for Kim Carnes, co-wrote Oh Sherry with Steve Perry, and a bunch of other stuff. Oh man, the list goes on and on and on with this guy, how many hits he's arranged and played on. He's fabulous. And good people too, living out in the woods.
No kidding. He's doing it right, huh?
Sure is. No, I have a book called Love, Laughter, and Rage. And actually, Kenny heard I had written a book and asked if he could read it. He read the manuscript, and 42 hours after she put it on his bus, he sent me a forward and said, use this forward for your book if you want. So I was really proud of that and said some beautiful things about me.
Oh, I'd love to read it. I love to read books.
Love, Laughter, and Rage.
Great.
One Man's Journey to Surrender. Mhm.
Awesome. I would expect that you would have something like that because of all that you've been through. So do you have some really cool stories to tell us about your uncle Kenny? It was such a sad time losing him.
Well, thank you. And
Right.
yeah, thank you. And our family, we hope we get together soon to be able to have a family reunion and
Yeah.
over that guy. He was amazing. He was my uncle. I called him Uncle Kenny when I was a little boy. I have great stories about him. One that I cherish always. I was a little boy, about 6 or 7, and he pulled up in our driveway in this shiny new car because he was playing bass in Houston with the Bobby Doyle Trio. And Kenny always looked good. This guy had style, right?
Yes.
So he pulled up driveway and asked my mom if he could wash his car. And he goes, come on, Danny, help me. And gave me a rag. I washed the wheels and we got it all washed. And he said, come on, I'm going to buy you an ice cream. So we go down to Dairy Queen and he goes, tell her what you want. I said, I want the biggest ice cream you got. And he looked at me and grinned and said, I knew you were going to say that. Give him the biggest ice cream, but he wouldn't let me get in his new car. He made me sit outside and eat it because he didn't want me to spill it in his new car. That was just one of the precious, cherished times that I have stories for days. We co-wrote a song together called What You Gonna Do? I walked in his house one day and said, I've got an idea, listen to this. And he loved it. And he wrote a bridge and first edition recorded it and did it in a movie of the week. He's had me stand up several times at his shows and introduced me as a world-class singer, songwriter, and a great entertainer in my own right. So honoring me like that was always a surprise. I loved him. He loved me. We were family.
Oh, I can imagine the stories and stuff. How are his sons doing?
I'm hoping I'm on this side of the country for a couple of weeks. I may buzz over to Atlanta and try to say hello and see them just to stay in touch with them. The 2 older ones are up and grown. They have their own family, so I don't really talk to them much. Yeah. But I believe in family, and I know Kenny did too. And love is the fruit that grows on the family tree. That's a quote from a song I wrote called Family Reunion.
Oh, gotta look that one up. That sounds amazing. Wow. So are you out touring at all, or will you be doing that anytime soon?
I promised Kenny he was in Newport Beach on his farewell tour in 2017. I was in Nashville recording about 4 years ago. And we all had kind of a family reunion. I introduced him to my wife, Wanda, to his wife, Wanda. We had a laugh over that.
Funny.
And he said to me, I heard you just had a #1 record. And I had a record called Just One of Those Days that went #1 on a chart. And he said, I have to hear it. He goes, Dan, you need to get back out there and start playing again. I said, I'm working on an album, a double album. I've been working on it for a few years. I'm going to let you finish up, but I promise I'll carry on. So to answer your question, I would like to be able to tour. There's a lot involved in putting that together. And if I think that there's a legacy there for me to carry on with, a family brand name, certainly. And I'm the musical patriarch now in the family. So yeah, maybe I'll get to go out next year. I'm going to start talking to some people about that.
So that country song, I believe it was George Jones, Who Will Fill Their Shoes. Was that George Jones, I believe? Yeah. So so Dan Rogers is going to fill his Uncle Kenny's shoes. So, there is a resemblance, even your voice. It's really cool.
Yes. Yeah, I used to tease him, but I have a brother named Lenny, and we look alike. So there's some of us men in the Rogers family have that, those Rogers forehead.
Nice. Yes.
So yeah, it's in the genes. So I figured, why not just be proud of it?
Yeah.
Rogers people were good people, country people from Texas, but good people. My grandmother was a God-fearing Christian woman. So we had some good, amazing people, a couple of crazies, a couple of uncle heads. Yeah. Somebody asked me the other day, what's it like having Kenny Rogers as an uncle? And I said, well, do you have an uncle? And he said, yeah. And I go, well, that's what it's like. He was my uncle. I didn't see him as Kenny Rogers. I looked up to him, but he was my uncle. And if we didn't agree, we would say so. We knew each other's good sides and bad sides.
Yeah. And that's the thing, we all have our cousins, uncles, aunts, and it's just, of course, it's a question that's going to be asked because, he's famous. Everyone knew Kenny Rogers, so, but with me, it's like, all right, let's talk about Dan, and if Dan wants to bring up Uncle Kenny, then he can bring him up, because
I always do, because it's part of my life and my heritage and my influence. So of course I'll always bring him up, and I don't mind talking about him. And I appreciate the respect you show me about wanting to know about me, because Kenny had every right in the world. He worked hard. He deserved what he got. He had every right to be as big as he was, but he cast a big shadow over everyone, not just me. And back then, nepotism wasn't really accepted as much in the music industry. But guess what? I'm still here. I'm making great music, and I'm carrying on. So,
so you're just going to keep on giving us great songs. That's what we appreciate.
I promise I'll do my best. And I'm doing one more single. I'm doing 3 singles and 3 videos this year. And towards the end of the year, maybe start rehearsing and talking about touring next year. But the next single I do after the one I'm working on now, it's called Be Still. And it's the story of what happened to me in Nashville in the mid-'80s and me going back to Nashville and finding peace with the town. It's going to be really moving, I think. I think people are going to really feel the heart and soul in that one too.
Yeah, it seems like Nashville's opened up again, especially with the Grand Ole Opry being open. And do you see that now that you're back there, that it's opened up?
Yeah, it has. It's kind of become a little LA here, right? But that's what happens. Nashville was the best kept secret and crown jewel. I love coming here making music. I don't like the politics, and the business side of it all here that much. I don't like that anywhere. Really, right. I'm just an artist. I just want to be left alone and make my music, and hope somebody's smart enough to see it and want to make a little money with me.
Yeah.
But Nashville has grown up. It has really come of age, and it's too big for me now. I come in. I like my little bubble. I live in Newport Beach, by the beach. It's amazing, and I have an amazing wife and a great life. So I pop into Nashville for a week or two and get some musical medicine and go home and get some beach medicine.
So what's a typical day for you in Newport Beach? You fish, do any of that stuff?
I started a hobby last year, and typical artists, I got into it big, sort of big. Well, I found bonsai, and I started trimming and learning and taking classes of bonsai. And I find it so meditative while I'm doing it. I don't get thirsty. I don't have to use a restroom. I can have my head in a bonsai tree for 2 hours just trimming it's like being in their forest, a miniature forest. So I like to get up in the morning, stretch, do some stretches, and have some quiet prayer time facing the sun, and go into my bonsai garden, pull some bonsai down off the shelf and work on. I've got about 24 trees now. So,
Awesome.
it's pretty big. It's getting there. But yeah, I like to do that, and then sit at the desk if I'm writing. But really, my nose is itching. What does that mean when your nose itches? My mom used to say that. Your nose itches, somebody owes you money or something.
That's it.
Sorry
You're
about
gonna
that.
make a lot of money off your single. That's what it means.
I hope so. That would be nice because my wife likes to shop.
Hello, Wanda.
Oh, Wanda, she's so beautiful. And we made a deal that every time now she buys a new pair of Jimmy Choos, I get to buy a new guitar. And it's slowed down a lot only because we ran out of room. we don't have any more room for shoes or guitars. So yeah, so that's my day, a little bonsai, and then maybe a bike ride up and down near the water, take it in, do a little business, work on my health. I just turned 69. I'm in really good shape.
You look great.
I've had some health issues, just body maintenance stuff, your back and that kind of stuff, your shoulder. But I'm pretty healthy, so I'm going to try to get healthier. So if I do go out on the road, I can turn in a good hour and a half, 2-hour show for some people.
Oh, we look forward to that. Oh, we hope so.
Surprises. There are going to be a few surprises if I put this show together. I've got some ideas, so I think the people will like it a lot.
Oh, I can't wait to continue to cover everything you do. It sounds amazing. So you were saying that you like to, when your wife gets that, you get guitars. What kind of guitars do you like to buy? Vintage guitars, bass, acoustic?
Yeah, I've got a really nice small collection, about 30. But a lot of them, most of them have been given to me either by guitar companies that sponsor me or friends. Because, as the biggest thing with guitar players is giving each other guitars, right? I've given my share of guitars to other guys, big stars, and I've had some give some to me. So I've got some really nice guitars. But I do believe something older. There's an old saying that says the guitar chooses the player doesn't choose the guitar. And I do believe that's true because a guitar has a soul to it. My son, Danny, my oldest son, who's a great songwriter, he's just living for I call it the redhead. I've written most of my good stuff on because it has a red cedar top and it's old and in. And he's just, and I had to give him one like it. I go, here, leave this one alone. You can have it when I die. So he keeps calling me every week, see how my health is. He wants that guitar. So, but I've got some nice stuff. Yeah, I haven't been able to play for about 2 years. I just had major surgery on this hand and I'm rehabbing it now and I still can't play. So I'm excited to get my hands back on the guitar neck.
Yeah, that's got to be difficult for someone like you who's used to that and can't, right? It's probably been hard for you.
It's very hard. It's been psychologically hard on me because you just feel like if you're not picking it up and doing your purpose every day, you feel like you're losing it.
Oh, goodness.
So, but it'll all come back. It'll come back just like that. A couple of good riffs on the guitar makes me feel good. And all of a sudden the confidence comes back. When I was a young kid, I wanted to grow up and play guitar really bad. And I achieved that. I grew up and I play guitar really bad, but I'm the best bad guitar player out there. That's what I tell everybody.
Do you happen to own any of your Uncle Kenny's guitars?
No, Kenny had a bass.
Okay.
An old Telecaster bass. I think Kenny Jr. got that. That's what I heard.
Oh, awesome. Well, that's glad to know someone got it. So you have anything else to talk about with us today?
Well, I think we've covered it.
Sounds good. I do too.
I've enjoyed this a lot. I do know Bill Cuomo's waiting for me to let him back in the studio so we can work some more.
Well, he could have come in and said hi.
He could have. I should have had him come in, but
he could have been a prop back there.
Yeah, maybe if we do it again and I'm back here. I don't know. I think I'm staying 2 weeks. I think after having guests for 2 weeks, they're kind of like fish. They start to stink when after about 2 weeks. Dead fish don't smell too good if you stay around too long. Anyway, they've been good to me and I'm having a ball. I've had a ball with you.
Great, thank you. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, and we look forward to the new stuff coming out. And what about, do you have a webpage that our viewers can go to?
Yeah, spell my name with two N's, DANN. Go to dannrogers.com and check out what's going on. I'm on all the social media stuff. So check me out, and hope you see and hear something you like.
Great, we will all do that. And thank you again for taking the time joining us today.
It's been fun. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks.